It's been must be a month since we last spoke. Not quite that long. At Bloodstock, be about 3 weeks, something like that.
Yeah,
Time flies, doesn't it?
yeah, not enough. Yeah, it's just life doesn't stop, does it? It's just full on. You don't know where you are.
Oh, tell me about it. Believe me. um, Talking about time flying and stuff. What I want to do is just take a quick trip back to like 1981. And the first foray that I'm aware of yourself in the musical world. We'll bring everybody up to date with where Burnt Out Wreck is now, if that's all right with you.
1980. Yeah, okay, no worries. Huh?
So we'll take a trip back with a band called Heavy Pettin, out of Glasgow, where I'm currently living, although my accent doesn't sound it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you released a couple of albums with that band as the drummer, um, and the main songwriter as well. I have to say, you wrote most of all the material for that band as well.
No, I co-wrote uh, along with Gordon Bonner. Gordon was a guitar player,
Mm.
and myself. We were together at school, and we came all the way up. Eventually, we did become Heavy Pettin, and yeah, it was myself and Gordon that were writing the tunes, and
Mm.
then gradually the other members started adding their, their own material to it as time went on within the band. So that
Mm.
was kind of how the songwriting went for the band. So
Ah,
no, I wasn't the main songwriter, but Gordon was, but I was his sidekick at the time.
fair enough. Yeah, my
Like,
research said otherwise. So I do stand corrected. It's why it's always nice to talk to people, find it out from the horse's mouth, as it were.
yeah, well, you don't want to get into trouble.
Absolutely not. One of the other things I picked up, and again, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but it's an interesting nugget if it is true. The first album from the band, Letting Loose, and that was produced by Brian May, who some people may be aware of in some other rock band or other. Um,
Yeah,
was that the first time he'd actually produced music that wasn't Queen's?
I think yes. The reason that it happened was, you know, um, the record company were looking for people to produce their first album, and obviously getting signed up to Polydor at the time was a big, big deal for anybody back in the 80s. So they thought, right, let's try and get the biggest, best thing that we can get, or obviously without spending mega bucks, and on Def Leppard's producer possibly, which was every record company was after at the time. But so that would have been fantastic, but that would have been a lot of money. So anyway, so up steps Brian, and he had a bit of downtime from Queen and said, "I'm interested in doing something. I'm looking for a project." And he came along to rehearsals and kicked our ass a bit, in the rehearsal room, do it again, faster, just like, geez, what's going on?
Mm.
Um, we're fresh out of Glasgow, and all of a sudden we're getting hit by Brian May stood in front of you, and we're just in awe of Brian May, obviously, because we got pictures of him on our bedroom walls, for God's sake, as we're growing up, and now he's in a room here. And yeah, so he just said, okay, yeah, I love it. And the rest is history. He produced the album along with Queen's producer Mac, and yeah, in London and in Munich, a month in London, a month in Munich, possibly more.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was the way that came about.
Yeah, I mean that must have been quite an experience. Not just, I mean, everything landed there at once. You form the band, and then within a couple of years, you've got the Polydor signing, and then not only have you got Polydor signing an album contract, but have the guitarist from Queen do all the work for you. I mean that must, for a young band at that time, that must have just absolutely blown you away.
Well, yeah, I mean, his skills in the backing vocal department are pretty self-evident if you
Yeah,
listen to uh, the backing vocals and Heavy Pettin's backing vocals. I mean, we were always into that kind of thing because that's what we grew up on. So big choruses is always the thing. But then Brian sort of taught us how to layer it, and double up on the vocals, and that's individually, say, each who say a four-piece harmony or something, and then you're doing it like I'll do it, and then I'll do it again, and then the next guy will do it and do it again, and then sometimes the chorus would do it together, like, and then double it up until eventually you got all these different harmonies, and it's just sounding like bonkers. So yeah, it was great working with that man.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's almost like he's coming from a band that's known for doing lots of backing harmonies and multi tracks, isn't it? Strange that.
Yeah, exactly. But but it worked, and that was it. And we were up into it, and we were capable of doing it. So there you go. He
So
didn't do
yeah,
it. he, didn't, he just beat it out of us.
yeah, he just shouted out you did the hard work. I mean, I'm a teacher for a career, so I mean, I know all about shouting at people and getting them to do all the hard work. I'm on Brian May's side.
Yeah,
So Heavy Pettin went through until like 87, 88, with I think 3 album releases, 3 album releases.
yeah. Probably 89 would be the call it a day sort of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Um, we had 3 albums. We had Let 'Em Loose, Rocky and Dead, and The Big Bang.
mm,
Uh, so yeah,
reformed kind of briefly with the original lineup, 1998 with an EP, which came out, and now the band's back again with a different lineup because obviously you're now doing something else, which is interesting to see. I just happened to notice when I was looking, heard about you guys, Burnt Out Rag, and we're looking around and realised that the band that you formed back in the day has resurfaced more or less the same sort of time, which is interesting.
yeah. Um, I noticed that. Yeah, they are out there. It's only Amy that's out there. The rest of the guys are just nobody's from nowhere. So they're in the band, and
Yeah,
and that's that really. So good luck to them. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's nice. At the end of the day, cracking music, giving it a chance to be get played live again. You can't really complain about too much about that. And it's nice to hear the music given a chance to recirculate and be heard by new people again. So fingers crossed on Spotify you might get some pennies out of it. So with any luck.
Yeah. Yeah, no, not at all. Dream on.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
Polydor will be swallowing all that lot. But Burnt Out Wreck, the one that we're focused on at the minute, that kicked off in 2016. So you're almost on your 10-year anniversary, which would be a nice thing to celebrate next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming still plowing through doing a lot of the songwriting for that as well.
I do all the songwriting for Burnout Rick, So yeah, and I have a great band around me, and we've had various members over the years come and go,
Mhm.
and now we're a four-piece, and I'm back playing rhythm guitar and a lead vocal, obviously, and yeah, it's finding my way back into that again. After not doing it for so long, I was a bit lazy, and I had two guitar players playing. Because I felt at the time that it's better visually, to have two lead guitar players out there, and then it gives me the freedom to move around the stage and
Yeah.
get people clapping or whatever or singing along, and so when you've got the guitar around your neck, you're kind of static in front of the mics, and but it's it's working out. People seem to think that, all right, it sounds great. That'll do. So it's good. So it's like, yeah, it's good.
So you mentioned back in Heavy Pettin, you were obviously doing backing vocals, same as everybody else was doing. Were you ever at that point kind of a frustrated vocalist? Were you ever thinking, I wouldn't mind getting to the front? Is that what's led to you fronting Burnt Out Wreck? Or was it just, this
No,
is
not at all.
for me?
Not at all. I mean, all our lives, I was a drummer from I was 9, 10, 11. By the time we got to first year in second year in secondary school, that was it. That was all I did. That was all I had in my head to do. Obviously, singing along to all the pop songs on top of the pops growing up and stuff. Your mum's hairbrush and stuff like that. That all happened, and so that I always had the high backing vocal parts because I could do that. So, and then when it come to learning how to play guitar and then sort of delving into my first steps in songwriting, yeah. So you start writing songs, but not thinking, oh, I'm going to sing this or I'm going to be a singer. It's just I just wanted to be the drummer in Heavy Pettin. By the time we got to Heavy Pettin, that was me. We had found the band and we knew what we wanted to be, so we went out and tried to do our best to take on the world, and yeah, we did. We had a good bashed it, but no, I didn't want to do that. Yeah, sure. When I got drunk up the pub or whatever, and people would say, "Come on up and sing an AC/DC song, Gary," and I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, come on, let's do that." So I got up there and give it some large up there, you
Mm.
know, but only for that kind of thing, for just for a laugh, but never to be serious, not until 19. But yeah, I say after about 1990 when we started writing some songs to become another band and then thought, well, can't find a vocalist, so why don't you just sing it then, And I said, okay, I'll give it a go. So that was that's when I decided, yeah, okay, this sounds all right, I can do this.
Mm. So what about the guitar playing? You said yourself all the way through secondary school, through Heavy Pettin, you were a drummer. You were a drummer. When did the guitar come in? Was that something that you'd again had float in the background, or did you just need a guitarist, or did you fancy trying it? Because it's
Well,
a big change.
yeah, of course, yeah, but being young, myself and Gordon, we just used to come back from school and just go into my mum's like lounge, as it were, living room lounge. Um, so we go into the lounge. I'd have a drum kit, and he had his guitar and amp, and we'd just knock lumps out of any tunes that we really liked at the time. Any of our, mostly status quo at the time, but yeah. So then watching Gordon playing guitar is what started, influencing me, and then he would show me a few chords and how to do this, how to do that. So over the years, I would just sit with an old beat up acoustic in my bedroom trying to remember how to play these things that he had shown me. So after after doing all that for years, then obviously I started just, okay, I'm putting things together and started doing songs, and that was it. So yeah, and now I still can't play guitar, but I'm happy to play rhythm, and beat it out. I mean, yeah, in my style, obviously it's an AC/DC kind of
Mhm.
vibe that's going on, straight ahead rock and roll, good stuff. And so it's pretty easy, I don't have to be finger picking and playing lead. I can't play lead guitar, I save myself, but no, I mean, I don't need.
The old status quo route of like three chords. That's all we need. Let's just play them in a different order. We're fine with that.
That's right. And what they didn't do them no harm.
Yeah, it seemed to work out pretty well for status quo. So we caught you on the VIP stage at Bloodstock. So anybody who didn't get a chance to catch us because you were not around the main front area, but you still got a decent crowd in. The sound was good. It was loud. How did you end up at Bloodstock? Did you ask? Were you invited?
Well, yeah, Claire, my wife, and the band's manager, she is both, and she'd been talking to Bloodstock since 2017.
Wow.
Just through various contacts, just whatever, and trying anywhere to get us to get a gig, and so over the years, they kept in touch, and eventually, the end of last year, they said, like, would you be interested in doing something, if we can get you in? And we said, of course we will, because, it's up to, isn't it, Bloodstock, for God's sake. So, yeah, so we, that's how it came about, basically,
Mhm.
is I'll just keeping on, and since we played it, we've had a lot of people say, how did you get that gig then? What's special about you, kind of thing, The internet's a great place for idiots, isn't it? Just
Yeah.
want to just have a go at you, you know.
Mhm.
Just I can say this to them all. I've done it.
That is the best response. I've just found the little still that I'm going to use on YouTube for the video there. That's going to
Yeah, that'll do me.
No, it's a good response because at the end of the day, I mean, not only have you been in a band now at that point for 9 years, you've been in another band for which you toured supporting Kiss, for God's sake. If that doesn't warrant you to play a stage at Bloodstock, I don't know what does.
Uh, yeah, so I think a lot of people don't know that, do they? They just think it's just a bunch of old guys. How are you getting on there? And
AC/DC is just a bunch of old guys. Iron Maiden's just a bunch of old guys. The question is, can you play a cracking rock tune? Yes. Therefore, should you be on stage? Yes, I salute you. Yeah. So, with the new band, you mentioned there's been a change in lineup with, or a few changes in lineups with Burnt Out Wreck. How did you
Yeah.
actually meet the current band members? How did you settle on the lineup you have now? Because I mean,
Um,
the first band was a school friend, so
yeah, that's right. So, went in and recorded Swallow, the first Burnt Out Wreck album,
mhm,
and then thought we started letting people hear it, and they were saying, "Well, this is really, really good. You really need to go out live and play this," because that was not the intention, really. The intention was just to go and record songs that I knew that were good songs. So I hated the idea of them just not being alive in the world and just being in, lying in a box under your bed on a cassette or something from some of them from days gone by, and so yeah, just that. So we thought, right, we better just see if there's anybody about that could actually make up the band, and we were lucky enough to get a full band of people, and yeah, it, it just came about that way. So from the original band of from 2017, say, we still got Al playing bass, and we've still got the drummer Paul.
yeah,
Paul Gray, unfortunately, his name is, so everybody thinks he's a famous something else drummer
yeah.
who's died now. So, and he gets hit with that all the time. So, but never mind. So, and on guitar, lead guitar, we got a young guy who's nearly half my age from up there in Scotland, and he is called Andy McLaughlin,
Mhm.
and he's a fantastic guitar player. You just have to keep a big pointy stick handy just to keep him in line. He likes to go off the rails. He says, "Stop it! This is rock and roll. You keep it straight." You get a sharp rod for him.
So again, talking about the history, you've been through the era of a record deal being a big thing, releasing stuff on vinyl, releasing stuff on cassettes, and
Yeah,
doing the big touring and having to work your way through the support slots and so forth. Music's changed a hell of a lot in the last, I would say 15, 20 years in particular. The big shift from physical media to the whole streaming bollocks to the point where bands are now going back to selling physical media again. How what's your viewpoint on all these changes? What do you think was a classic? Which one is best? Is nowadays good because more bands can get out there and get heard, or was it better in the old days where you really had to get that bit of luck to get heard? Which is there a balance somewhere that we could maybe aim for?
good.
It's a
People
big
say this.
question.
It is a big question, and it's like, I don't know, I mean, the internet is absolutely brilliant, obviously, because as soon as you put something out there, it's right and it's round the world instantly. Not I'll read about it in a wee tiny ad in the corner of Sounds paper from the mid to late 70s. Like that's how things in Kerrang. You get about 2 lines or something with your name at the start of it.
Yeah.
If you were blooming lucky, but money wise in the 80s, yeah, money was no object. People were just chucking money at people, and they were just signing people up left and right for tens of thousands of pounds, and hundreds of thousands of pounds. But obviously, like you say, nowadays, that's just not the case. There is no music industry, I don't think. I think that's all went to shit.
Mhm.
Uh, bands just you're not making no money off your songs. You're putting songs out there. There's no money coming back in. It's what happened. I have no idea what happened. Did the record companies sell us down this money? I don't know. Did they know that the internet was coming? Did they know what iTunes was going to be? And somebody did. And just that was it. So one day you were getting advances, the next day you were getting bugger all because that's your life over. You can fend for yourself now. So yeah, it is a big question. you know, everything that I have done here is self-financed, and that's the way that most bands are doing it these days, isn't it? You know, they just on you go, you know. But where does that money come from, and when does it end? You know, you young bands, God forbid, man, how are they getting the money to do it? You know, and they must have rich parents or something funding it, you know, because you just can't, you know, let's go out and, like you say, physical, you know, like vinyl. We've never went to vinyl because it's just too expensive. We would never be able to, you know, you've got to buy so many, you know, and then we'd probably never sell that.
Yeah.
No, and we, like you say, we've been going for what, nearly 10 years,
Yeah.
so we don't have that amount of. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's people listening to Burnt Out Wreck all around the world. You know, if you look at you know, the streaming, if I print it out, it's like it's it's like A4 sheets. This, and it's everywhere. It's round the world, but you're not getting money for it. You know, but
Yeah.
there is thousands of people all over the world that know about us
Mhm.
that we're not getting.
Yeah. So how many would actually buy stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, so and I don't know about vinyl anyway. Does everybody really want vinyl? You know,
Mhm.
I don't know. They're both throwing their CDs away now. You know, you know, they threw their albums away in the first place. So it's just somebody trying to make money, isn't it? Somewhere, you know, let's do this.
Mhm.
I have no idea. Don't ask me the question. You know? I just sing in a band now and again.
Well, talk about the money side of thing and the singing in the band. How could people support you guys? I mean, obviously, if people go to your gigs, that's a great thing. If people buy any of your merch, that's a great thing. So, where can we go to find out where you're playing? Where can we go to buy any of your merch?
Um,
What have you got coming up?
Yeah, there is a burnoutrec.com you can go to. That tells you where we're going to be playing and what we're up to, basically, I hope,
Mhm.
uh, if it's kept up to date. Obviously, there's the Facebook page, there's TikTok and Instagram. God, it's not me that operates any of that, you know. I think my wife does more than that than me. I put it up. If I go onto Instagram, I just think, what? How did I put this up here? I don't, you know, I just terrible with it, you know. I have zero interest in it, you know. I'm just got too much else going on in life.
Yeah,
But anyway,
that's why you hired a wife. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, obviously we got t-shirts for sale, but it's all at gigs, mainly at live. It's not
Mhm.
buy them online, you know. We don't sell stuff like that.
So, have you got anything live wise coming up at any point in the near future?
First week in October, we're playing up in Edinburgh again.
Cool.
Played with Bannerman's last time. This time we're playing. I think it's called Rockinborough. I think it's called,
Okay.
or Rockinburg. Probably Rockinborough to go with Edinburgh, really, isn't it, Gary?
Yeah.
But hey, come on, waking up. You know, I've not had a drink yet. I'm only drinking water here. You know, folks. You know, come on.
I want my vocals on tea 'cause my throat's killing me.
Yeah. So yeah, we got that, and then I think the only other gig we got is Planet Rockstock later on in the year, which we're looking forward to
Yeah,
down in Wales. And we've done it before, and it was a great gig. Freezing cold, mine, at that time of the year, but
just gonna say, yeah,
no, with the breeze coming straight off the sea. Yes, thank you.
yeah,
We need, but
yeah,
but yeah, we're looking forward to that as well. So that should be really good. You know.
yeah. I mean,
So,
like Bloodstock, that's a cracking event to be part of as well.
yeah, it was incredible. I mean, I think I said to you at the time, we were there, but we were just like so overwhelmed. You know, it was just like, what's going on? Why are we? What all of a sudden we're here at this thing, and it felt so good
Mhm.
because it's a proper big rock and roll metal
Yeah,
festival, and it was great to be part of it. You know, so that made a change.
yeah. And the folks from Planet Rock are really nice as well. We do chat now and again to some of them as well. They're a great bunch, and they're properly into the music. This isn't just a way of turning some money or making a publication. These guys live for what they're writing and what they're pushing out on the radio and so forth as well. Great bunch.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Gary, I think I am pretty much out of all my questions. It has been a pleasure speaking to you again. Thanks for the performance at Bloodstock. Thanks for the chat there, and thanks for the chat here. We'll make sure everybody knows all about all the social links. If you're on our website, just look above us and all the links there that Gary mentioned, the Instagrams and the TikToks, and the web page with all the details are straight above us. And if you're on YouTube, they'll be in the comments down below, so you can check all that stuff out as well. And go and see the band live, buy the t-shirts, and enjoy the music, and make Gary's Spotify statistics like bigger.
Slightly bigger, yeah, very much bigger. Because I need to pay for that Marshall that I just bought last week. It's an old one, but I tell you, come on. You'll see that live when I do play because it sounds just amazing. It's going to come.
Fantastic. Yeah, so get yourself out to Edinburgh October and find out what that Marshall sounds like. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Right. Cheers. Thanks very much.
You're very welcome. Thanks, Gary. Speak to you again sometime.
Right. Yep. See you soon.
Bye-bye. This episode is copyright The Moshville Times, introductory music by Elliot Alderman Broom, and any music used throughout the episode is copyright to the original performers and creators.